The Lead Masks Case, Brazil's strangest unsolved mystery. If you were hiking up a quiet hill in Brazil in 1966, you might have expected to find birds, trees, maybe a view of the city below. But instead, you would have found two dead men, lying side by side, dressed in suits, wearing homemade lead masks over their eyes. No signs of violence. No struggle. No explanation. Just one chilling note with instructions that seem to describe a ritual. And to this day, no one knows exactly what happened. This is one of the strangest unsolved cases in history, because unlike most mysteries, this one doesn't just leave you with questions. It gives you just enough clues to build multiple terrifying possibilities, and none of them feel entirely impossible. The Discovery. On August 20th, 1966, a teenage boy was flying a kite on a hill called Morro do Vintém in Niterói, Brazil. As he climbed higher, he noticed something unusual in the grass. At first, it looked like mannequins, but as he got closer, he realized they were bodies. Two adult men, lying flat on their backs, perfectly still, dressed in formal suits, as if they had just come from work, or were about to attend something important. But the strangest detail was on their faces. Each man wore a thick, homemade mask made out of lead, not covering the entire face, just the eyes, like protective goggles, but crude, heavy, almost ritualistic. And beside them was a notebook. The note inside the notebook, investigators found a short, cryptic message. It read, 1630, be at the specified location. 1830, ingest capsules. After effect, protect metals. Wait for mask signal. No explanation. No names, just instructions. It sounded like a plan, a schedule, something they fully intended to carry out. Who were they? The two men were identified as Manuel Pereira da Cruz Miguel Jose Viana. Both were electronics technicians. Respected, stable, not criminals. They worked repairing radios and TVs. But there was something else about them. They had a known interest in spiritualism. At the time in Brazil, spiritualist movements were popular, combining science, mysticism, and communication with higher beings. And according to people who knew them, these two weren't just casual believers. They were deeply involved. The journey. A few days before their bodies were found, the men told their families they were going to buy electronic parts. Normal enough. But instead, they traveled nearly 300 kilometers to Niterói. When they arrived, witnesses saw them acting strangely. They bought bottled water raincoats, even though it wasn't raining. And one witness later recalled something unsettling. When asked why they needed raincoats, one of the men responded, "It's for protection." Protection from what? They never said. The final hours. The last confirmed sighting was at a small bar near the hill. The two men seemed calm, focused, not drunk, not scared, almost purposeful, as if they knew exactly what they were about to do. Then, they climbed Morro do Vintém, and that was the last time anyone saw them alive. The scene. When investigators examined the bodies, things only got stranger. There were no signs of violence, no wounds, no struggle, no poison detected, though testing was limited. The raincoats were neatly laid beside them. The lead masks were carefully placed over their eyes, and their posture was almost peaceful, like they had laid down, willingly, to die. The missing piece. There was one crucial detail investigators couldn't explain. The note said, ingest capsules. But no capsules were ever found. No containers. No residue. Nothing. It was as if the most important part of the plan had completely vanished. Theories. This is where the case shifts from strange to deeply unsettling, because there are several theories, and each one raises even more disturbing questions. Theory 1. Scientific experiment gone wrong. Since both men were electronics technicians, some believe they were experimenting with radiation or energy. The lead masks may have been intended to protect their eyes from bright flashes or harmful light. Maybe they were attempting to contact something, or trigger a phenomenon. In the capsules? Possibly drugs to induce altered states. But if that's true, what exactly were they expecting to see? Theory 2. Spiritual or UFO contact. This is one of the most popular theories. The note mentions, wait for mask signal. Some believe the men thought they would witness, or even meet, extraterrestrial beings. The lead masks might have been protection from a blinding light, like a spacecraft landing, and the capsules could have been part of a ritual to prepare their minds. But if they were expecting contact, why did it end in death? Theory 3. Cult ritual. Investigators discovered the men were loosely connected to a small spiritualist group. Some believe they were following instructions given by a leader. A ritual involving isolation, substances, waiting for a signal. But if it was a ritual, where was the leader? Why were they left alone? Theory 4. Voluntary suicide pact. This theory suggests the men knowingly took poison, that the entire setup, the suits, the masks, the note, was part of a carefully planned death. But this doesn't explain why no poison was found, why they traveled so far, why such a bizarre method was chosen. It doesn't feel like a typical suicide. It feels staged. The most disturbing detail, perhaps the most unsettling part of this case, is not what we know. It's what we don't. Two intelligent men traveled hundreds of kilometers, bought specific items, followed a timed set of instructions, laid down calmly, put on protective masks, and then died. No panic, no resistance, no clear cause. Just obedience to a plan that no one else understands. To this day, the lead masks case remains unsolved. No one knows what the capsules were, what the signal meant, or what the men were truly expecting to happen on that hill. But maybe the most chilling possibility is this. Whatever they believed was going to happen, they were so certain of it that they were willing to follow the instructions all the way to the end, even if it meant they would never come back. If you enjoy strange, dark, and mysterious true stories, make sure to stick around, because there are many more cases just like this one, where the truth is often stranger than fiction.